Patterson's mom is Annie Mackenzie. It used to be Deeds. We are first cousins. Patterson is technically my second cousin. Although I will tell you he's my nephew, and in my heart he's my nephew. EB is Epidermolysis Bullosa. EB is a rare genetic condition. People who are born with EB are born missing the proteins that hold your connective tissue together, so your skin together. This shirt could cause my skin to blister or tear or cause wounds. The only way to really be able to describe it in terms of pain is if you had third-degree burns your entire life. Patterson's is a recessive dystrophic epidermolysis bullosa, which is a pretty severe diagnosis.
Pretty much from the day he was born, at least until recently, every day there's something bandaged on him.
Debra of America. They are a nonprofit organization that represents epidermolysis bullosa. They provide a lot of support for families with EB.
The couple that our doctor connected us with.
That was instantly the first thing that she said to do was get a hold of Debra. They're going to be your main source of everything going forward.
They sent them this great big care package, and it was just full of wound care products and information. Through their organization, they provide patient education. They provide a nurse who's available to call on the phone to help patients if they have questions. Debra of America has been a very supportive organization for Annie and Peter, and it meant a lot to be able to give back and do something through them. My circumstance the weekend Patterson was born was a hard one. I wasn't there because the day before, on May 30th, I was in Oklahoma to be there as one of my best friends in life left this world for the next. Kenny Comer was a very dear friend of mine, and he had an incredibly courageous 10-year battle with cancer. He lived life like I've never known anyone to live life who has a terminal diagnosis. Kenny endured so much treatment. He endured losing a right leg at the hip. He endured the loss of part of a lung. But during that time, he finished his bachelor's degree. He finished his master's degree. In April, right before he died, they still did the 5K for Oklahoma City Memorial, but Daniel pushed him in his wheelchair. His name was Kenneth. And Patterson's middle name is Kenneth. He's named after his grandfather, who also passed away from cancer. And so even though there was no connection between the two, for me the connection was so intense because it was like one Kenneth left the world while another one entered. Before this ever had a name, or before it was an idea, before there was a game plan, Pursuit for Patterson was really born in that moment from those feelings.
536. Good job, dude.
I'm newer to trail running. I've been running my entire life. I can't explain how you feel. There's no way to put in words that kind of pressure you put on yourself, but also mentally where you go. I think if you asked any runner where they go in their head, their answer is going to be different because we all have a different motivation for being out there. So what drives you is incredibly personal for a lot of us.
2, 1, go!
There she goes! There she goes!
You just have to find that one thing that makes you feel like the fight is worth it, and then you hang on to it for dear life. It quiets this thing inside of me that screams, I need a little bit more. I always feel like there's something really big, and I don't know what it is, and it just makes me feel anxiety. Like there's something I need to be doing that's bigger. And pushing myself in these races, or just pushing myself when I go out for a run, it helps quiet that feeling of something different, the feeling of, I guess what it is it makes me feel alive. Debra of America, creates a team, and they run the New York City Marathon. Annie and I had talked about it. Well, what if we participated in one of their events? I had my trail running season planning out, and I was signing up for my races, and I just thought, why would I go and do that when I have this right here, right now? Like, what am I waiting for? I have this. This felt personal. It felt organic. It was me. So I called her and I said, hey, I've got all these runs coming up. Why don't we just do it now? We launched Pursuit for Patterson on February 29th because that is Rare Disease Awareness Day. We created our fundraising page, which is on Debra of America. We set our initial goal for $2,000. It was incredible. The amount of people, the number of people that reached out with supportive words, people who just gifted things to people who didn't even know Patterson, who wanted to gift him with like special pajamas. I mean, it was so beautiful. And Annie was so taken back because she thought, well, I just didn't think people would really care. Everybody has a sad story now. Life is hard. We all go through hard things. Like, I just didn't think it would be a thing that people would really respond to.
Really, Kristy kind of introduced us to a lot of the support that's out there, because really we just thought we were kind of on our own. It was hard for us to like share that.
The message we were trying to share, it's about Annie and Peter and Patterson, absolutely, but it's truly about the whole entire community with EB.
I was more scared for you than I was for me, because I was like, God, that's so much work. I really want this to be successful for EB in the community, but I was like, oh, I hope she gets what she needs out of it as well.
Which charity?
We've been running for Epidermolysis Bullosa.
You ran Smith, didn't you? I remember that from Smith Rock.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we've been running all year, so this is our last race for it. So we'll have everyone out here for it.
Thank you. Wow. Fantastic.
How are you feeling?
Like, I might cry a little bit, but really good, like super excited. It's just been a long time coming, but it feels really good. Now I'm gonna go pet all the dogs. Mount Hood 50. One day we'll do the 50. I can live my life within these boundaries that are created by embarrassment or by fear or the possibility of failure, or I can live my life, just really live. I mean, what if I fail? Is that the worst thing that's gonna happen to me? Like, if failing is the worst thing that happens to me, then I will be happy to fail, because at least I tried. You have to take control of what you can. And I think by fighting it and by raising awareness about it and by sharing the story is a coping mechanism, because it's hard for something so sad to happen but feel like there's nothing you can do. And I think that that's how people just generally feel. Something happens and you're like, I feel so sad, I wish there was something I could do. And there is. There is something you can do. You just have to be brave enough to do it, whatever that it is. And for me, that was Pursuit for Patterson. And that was saying, let's share his story. Let's find a way to raise awareness. Let's find a way to raise money. Let's speak up. And instead of the disease being the voice, let's be the voice of the disease. It's what we can take control of. next for Pursuit for Patterson? I think something that Pursuit for Patterson wants to do that maybe is a little different is bring everyone together and not so much focus on our cause, but realize that it is this community cause and be able to take all of these organizations that are already existing and find a way to cohesively support each other. In the journey of just reaching out and meeting new, or I should say making new friends with other families who are also fighting the same fight that we are, it's been really fun. We've made a very dear friend now. His name is Rob Freed, and he lives on the East Coast. And he's going to be doing the big ride. So he's actually going to be riding across the country on his bicycle, tentatively starting in 2018 to raise money for EB. Rob had a son. His name is Drake, and he unfortunately passed away at a very young age from EB. And since then, Rob really took to riding his bicycle. And he has used biking as a way to raise money and awareness for multiple different causes. But this ride, he will be riding from Florida to Astoria, Oregon, and to Boston. And so we have been trying to find ways to support Rob, and we can't wait for his journey, and we hope to get to actually meet him on the road. And maybe I'll get to run alongside him. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see.